Good day everyone and welcome to Exile News, the weekly show that brings you all the important news and information on Path of Exile. And the live stream for the Settles of Kalgur has happened this Friday, so well, if you were able to watch it live, it was amazing, and you might have gotten your cursor back attachment, which looks okay. Definitely not gonna complain about a free microtransaction. And very quickly, what is going to happen to Necropolis after the league ends? Well, obviously, Necropolis and Graves crafting are not going core, well, mostly because the Graves crafting system is way too strong. I mean, I understand it's boring, so there's all the problems about being boring and everything, but it is, at the end, way too strong. Like, I crafted things that should not have been so easy to craft. So yeah, that's obviously not going core. Maybe it will come back later on, who knows. Still, everything is going to migrate to the standard leagues as always, and all the Necropolis uniques except the Perandus Pact are now going to be added to the core drop pool, so you can still build around those if you so desire. And well, Coughing and All Flames Embers are going to be deleted, so no playing around with those in standard once the league ends. So yeah, that's it for Necropolis. Let's go to the Settles of Kalgur, and this is the landing page where you get the small trailer, which honestly doesn't make much sense to watch now. The content reveal, if you haven't had a chance, is a 45 minutes video comprising everything that's going to happen in the patch. And yeah, it's absolutely recommended. If you haven't watched it yet, absolutely do so, of course, after this video. Still, there's the announcement, which is basically the landing page we are going to take a look in a moment, and the full patch notes, which are so long, it's unbelievable. And well, of course, the new supporter packs, so if you want to support GGG for their choices, this is definitely the right time, because these supporter packs are the best that you can get with your money. And of course, the usual slew of press coverage things, which I'm not even going to look at, because they're generally really bad. Still, how does this league work? Basically, the Kalgurs are going to settle in Rayclass, and you're going to help them build the town of Kingsmarch and establish commercial routes with them. So you can see here, there's the town. It starts as a very basic town, and then as it like this, and you start to build it up. And to do this, there's gold which is going to drop from monsters, and it's auto pick up, so that's pretty good. I think it instantly, like, I'm not sure if it directly goes into your inventory or you have to walk over it to pick it up, but still, there's gold, and it's going to be used actually building the town, and it's a very different system. Like, there's also resources that are going to be found around in zones, like maps and campaign stuff. And well, of course, these resources are going to be guarded by monsters. You clear the monsters, you mine the resources, and then you can trade with the Kalgurs. Going back to the gold, you can see that you can buy or hire these workers. There's a cost for hiring them. There's also a wage, so there is an upkeep cost for having your city like function. And well, I don't know how this is going to translate. I don't like upkeep costs for things on the league, but maybe if the league is fun enough, well, you can just keep playing. The thing is, workers have different things that they can do. You can see this one is probably a digger, a miner, maybe it tills the soil as well. Not sure what all those icons do, but there's different types because there are a lot of jobs, and you'll have to manage those. Also, these jobs work in real time, and that is the first time GG is doing something like this. It's very much like one of those games where you make something start, and then you come back 3 hours in real life later, and it's done. So we'll see how that goes. Well, the good thing is that it's not pay to win, as like all those games are. The bad thing is that this can create some weird situations where you might want to wake up in the middle of the night to check on a job or something. Hopefully, GGG didn't make it that you have to be way too alert on some things. Still, we'll have to see how that goes. And the objective of all of this is to establish the trade routes, as we said before, with the Kalgurs, where you send them shipments of stuff and they give you shipment of course, currencies, items, all the kind of things. And well, it's going to be up to the player to understand who gives you what, depending on what you give it to them. So that's the usual thing that GGG does, where the league is not really clear how it works, and the community has to figure it out. I'm sure by the end, or well, honestly, I'm sure by like 2 weeks into the league, there's going to be spreadsheets about what you have to do, in which order, and everything else. So that is going to be really interesting to see. And there's new, of course, unique items. There's these new rooms which are going to be used for upgrades. We're going to see in a bit, because those are absolutely bonkers. And this is an example of things that have come back from the shipments. And basically this is all yours. You can see you can take it all. So there's good currencies, there are cards, there's items. This is going to be really interesting. We'll have to see how that goes. But it's definitely going to be rewarding if you put the time into it, just like all the rest of the game. You can also delegate map running. This is a new thing. This is probably going to be a thing just for this league. There's going to be these structures that you can build in your city, and well, you can just, as you can see, queue up your maps, and the workers you hired will run them for you and basically give you the rewards. You can see there's a timer here, and the queue works so that you just slam all your maps in and forget about it, and then when they're done, you come back and get your rewards. If you put a map that's way too hard, your workers might die in it and you will get no rewards. So it's not like you can just plonk in your T-17s and the workers will do the job. You still have to play the game much like every other time. And speaking about the OP crafts that we were saying before, like this is a huge example that I've shown in the live stream as well. Like gaining a very high amount of weapon physical damage as extra damage of each element is absolutely broken with the new Warden Ascendancy as well. We're gonna talk about that in a bit, but yeah, this enchantment here is broken, and there's going to be more of those, so we'll see how that goes. These rooms still seem to be really huge. And another big thing is currency trade markets. So this is somewhat of an asynchronous trading that we've been asking for like since forever. It doesn't work for items, but it works for currencies, and there's a lot of currencies. Basically, you place an order where you want to buy something or where you want to sell something. And well, if you want to buy something and you put a ratio that's actually available for sale, you can just click and buy it. So that is going to be amazing. There's also NPCs in town which sell you mystery weapons, mystery items, and yeah, it's basically the usual gambling that we get with Expedition. I wonder if Expedition is going to be available at all in this league. Honestly, it probably shouldn't be, like considering there's some NPCs that are involved in Expedition that basically now are part of the town, and the Kalgurs are still all about Expedition as well. So we'll see how that goes. But there's also going to be, of course, endgame bosses, and if your town grows high enough or big enough, you are going to attract attention, of course, good and bad, and there's going to be bosses that are going to somewhat like capture and ransom your workers, even ships, and then you'll have the choice to fight them or just disregard and leave the ships, leave the workers to die, basically, because you are not ready to fight these bosses. So hopefully this is going to happen just about the right amount, like maybe early game you get a lower version of the boss, and that might be fun to play with. Late game bosses are definitely going to be really hard, so we'll have to see how this is balanced. It can be interesting, it can be really annoying, really depending on the sweet spot that GG put them in. And some big changes have happened to the Gladiator Ascendancy. First thing is that they have a new kind of avenue of scaling their damage, and it's with these retaliation skills. You can see it has a retaliation tag, and there's a lot of retaliation skills, and it's going to be on the skill tree as well. This is a new Gladiator with a node particular for retaliation. There are other very good nodes For example, making your block chance lucky. This is really strong. Lucky basically rolls twice and takes the best result, kind of like the advantages thing that you have in Baldur's Gate 3 or D&D in general, if you played those, for example. However, it lost the Challenger charges, which gave it a lot of attack speed and move speed, making it really smooth to play, so we'll have to see how that goes. Of course, the big node with the physical explode thing is still there, so Gladiator is definitely interesting to be considered. You can also aggravate your bleeds, and there's also other ways to aggravate the bleeding, basically making bleeds always work as if the target was moving, really increasing the damage for bleeds. So Gladiator is definitely back on the menu, and the other Ascendancy really big change that has happened is the Warden. And well, rest in peace Raider, because the Warden completely overtook the Raider. So the Raider is no more, it's now the Warden, and it's very focused on dealing elemental damage. There's one node for shock, one for freeze, one for scorch actually instead of ignite, and then all confluxing into a one huge node for elemental damage. It has bark skin coming out from, of course, the Warden, from the Affliction League, and well, some more bark skin improvements. Tinctures are coming back. However, the thing with tincture is that they burn mana, increasingly burn your mana, so you will have to turn them off at a certain point. However, you can improve them, like making them burn less, linger on you, apply to ranged weapons, or even have 2 tinctures on you as well. So Warden is definitely going to be really strong for elemental damage, specializing in that type of damage. And yeah, I'm sure we'll see a lot of Wardens and a lot of Gladiators in this league, because that is really good. Also, there's a massive balance overall. We're gonna see a little bit of that in the patch notes in a bit. Still, you can check out this Demon Horn. It has hugely improved crit chance, base crit chance, so it's going to be much better. It also has a better attack speed, so Wonders can definitely play this league. It's probably going to be a good league for Wonders. Some rolls have been increased, like the life rolls, I think they go up to 189 life on a chest piece. So yeah, that's absolutely amazing. And another big thing you can see in this Venture Gamble ring is that all sources of item quantity have been made disappear, like have been removed from the game basically. And you can see here Venture Gamble, which would usually have item quantity, now has mana reservation efficiency. So yeah, quantity has been removed. I'm sure like there's not many players who are actually sad about this. It's much better to be able to get your own good build and then put in rarity to increase the chance of getting good things, instead of just going all in on quantity and having shit gears all around. Of course, there's endgame improvements, like they're adding a 6 map slot device. So the 5th map slot device, instead of being gated on a T17, is now on your first 10-way Maven encounter. There's going to be Wildwood happening casually from T16s onward, and yeah, it just works like the Affliction League, and you also have a chance to get an audience with the king, basically being able to fight the king in the mist. So that's going to be cool. There's new chisels as well, enhancing different types of statistics on your maps, which is going to be pretty good. Consoles improvement, like reduced loading timers, reduced pop-in things, texture that will load faster, and overall a much better gameplay smoothness. So that is definitely amazing. And yeah, we've seen before, supporter packs, definitely get one of those if you so desire. And well, quickly with the patch notes, because there's so much things to talk about, but the really big thing is that the melee totem skills have been removed. Like we all expected that they just took away the buffs that totem gave to melee skills. Instead, they literally removed the totems themselves. This is like a weird change, honestly. Why remove completely one archetype? Anyone who actually had microtransactions for those will be refunded the points, so that's pretty nice from GG. Still remains the doubt of why would they like remove completely the thing, but I mean, they must have had their reasons, probably opening up some different design spaces, and yeah, that's always good. So this has happened, so melee, that's one improvement to melee. Another thing that's happened is the banner rework, where basically banners now don't give you stats and don't reserve any mana when you have them on, basically. However, when you plonk them down, they do actually work really well, and they have some big effects. The thing is that these banners, some people compare them to totems, of course. However, there's a little bit of a difference. The first one is that you have to gain valor to actually use your banner, and also the banners have 10 seconds of duration, basic duration, and they are not subjected to being killed by anything. So you can actually play with a banner, and it's fine to plonk down a banner from time to time. You will not have to do it constantly. You will not have to worry about it dying. So this is definitely a huge improvement. Of course, there's also banner specific things on the passive skill tree, so that's pretty huge. The Rage is being reworked somewhat, along with the Berserker that now has some very big Warcry nodes, making slams really interesting. But still, skill gem, if we go in the skill gem changes, well, all of the melee skills have received a huge improvement. Like we can see Bone Shatter, and well, Bone Shatter started from at 200% at level 1, now it has 231% effectiveness of base and added damage, and scales up to 338% instead of 250. And if this looks a lot, well, you should know that Bone Shatter is the lower skill, is the skill that has been buffed the least, because it's already really strong. If we search for example, Double Strike, now this is one of the skills that's been buffed the most, and you can see it scales up to 409% instead of 140%. Like, the improvement is almost 3 times the damage. Of course, all the physical skills also lost the added physical damage, which is fair, but comparing these percentages with the older ones, melee skills actually got buffed by a lot. And there's also the thing that quality now multiplies the damage of your weapons. So if you add these to that, melees are in a great spot this league. This is definitely a league where you want to play melee rather than the other skills. I mean, you probably played all the other skills lately, so might as well play with melee a little bit. So yeah, really excited. Next Friday the league starts. Be sure to be ready for that. And I guess that was all for this week. So if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a comment down below. Also, if you want to remain updated every week, you should subscribe to my channel. That was all. I've been your host Giorgio, and I'll see you guys the next time.